So hey there, my name is Akshay and welcome back to Geeks for Geeks. And in today's video, we will be learning about MySQL union, MySQL group by, MySQL having, and MySQL exists clause. Okay, so these are some basic clause which are very useful in SQL. So as you proceed further inside this course, and you'll realize that you just have to run the queries to get a certain amount of data, right? So for that, we are using these kind of queries so that it may be easier for you to find the data. And in the previous videos, we have already learned about multiple SQL commands like how do we create a database, how do we insert data inside that database, like creating a table or something, and inserting data inside these tables as well. Okay, so let me open my SQL command. So this is our command line, and I'm gonna insert the password as root and increase the font size. Okay, so we have created the database named GFV, so I'm gonna use it, and these were all the tables that we previously created. Now, in the previous video, we have learned about the joins, right? So that was one of the most important topics in SQL, and these topics are important as well. Okay. So let us start with our MySQL union operator. So union operator is used to combine the result set of two or more select statements. Like there are different spares. There are two different select statements in one or two different tables, and we want to combine those two select statements. So what do we use for that? We use the union function. Okay, and every select statement with union must have the same number of columns. Columns must also have similar data types. Okay, and the columns in every select statement must also be in the same order. Now we will get through these all these things while we are working on some data. So let me first show you what is the basic syntax of union. Okay. So the basic syntax is select column name from table 1, and then you have to write union. Then after that you have to write the second select statement. Select column table 2. Okay. So this is the basic syntax of union. Okay. Then there is another thing over here that is union all, and for that we just have to write wait a minute. Let me end this. Okay, so union all syntax. For the union all syntax, you just have to write wait a minute, okay. Uh for the union all syntax, uh, so select column from table 1, that is the first statement of select, and then you have to use union all, and after that what you gotta do is you gotta insert the second select statement that you wanted. Okay, so this is the select statement of second table, right? So we are using this statement right now, and after that you just have to press enter, and this is the basic syntax of union all. Okay, so I told you about the basic syntax of both of these, the union as well as the union all command, right? Okay, now let us proceed by creating a table, and we are gonna run some operations on these tables. Okay, uh, I'll have to create two tables. Okay, so first one whose name was wait, let me just check if the customer table is already available on. Okay, so customers table is already available, and for the this was a table that we created, and we have some changes inside this table. So I'm just gonna drop this table and create another one. Drop table custom, right? So this table is now deleted, and I'm gonna create another table. Okay, so for that I'll use the create statement, create table uh, customers, and the column names will be first column will be customer ID. Okay, then the data type will be integer, length should be 30. Then the second column G should be customer name. The data type should be character and the length should be, let's say, 60. Okay. So this is the second column, and the third column will use um, tag name, and you can't give a space, right? So for the third column, the data type will be character and length should be 40. Okay. Then for the fifth column, we'll use address, character, and the length should be 30. Then city, data type will be character, length should be 50. Okay. I'm just creating random values. Okay. So then code, data type should be integer and the length should be, let's say, 23. Then after that, the last column will be country. Data type will be character, length should be 40. So this is the basic table customer that we are creating right now. Okay. So this table is now created. Now I'm gonna insert some rows inside this table. Okay. So for that, I'll use the insert command. Insert into customers, and the values should be customer ID 1 and the name should be A. It should be written in quotes, right? Then after that, the contact name should be X. Then you have to name the address. So for the address, I'll give XYZ. And for the city, I'll write uh, Berlin. Okay. Then after that, for the postal code, I'll give 12209. And for the country, I'll give Germany. Okay. Now this is our first row and I'm gonna insert it. Okay. Then for the second row, I'll just change the number to 2 and name to B. Contact name should be Y and you see it's a burning let's go. Then 05021 and for the country Mexico. Okay. Uh, this row is now inserted and I'm going to insert another row, that is the third row. The data will be like this. Okay. Then for the code it will be 23, let's say. I'm going to insert this one. So there are 3 rows inside this table and I'm going to create another table. So first let me check if the name is already present or not. Okay, it's not there. So I'll create another table. So liars. Okay. Then inside this table there will be uh, columns. So for the column first I'll use wait. Okay. So supplier ID. Okay. Then for the second column we use supplier name. Then for the third column we will use the contact name, and the rest columns will be very similar, like the address and city and the code. Then for the country, yeah. So this row is this table is also created, and after creating this table, I'm gonna insert values inside this table. Insert into supplier, suppliers, and wait. I can use the previous insert command as well. So this is our data for the supplier name. All right, ASDF. The contact name should be something else, and address should be something else as well. And for the city, I'll write London and CI SD. This should be the postal code. Okay. And for the country, okay. Uh, Wait. Errors in the inside the code. Okay. So okay. So this was integer type, right? So let me give a random number. Yeah. This row is now inserted, and I'll insert two more rows of similar kind. This will be yeah. Okay. So for the last row, I'll use again some random value. So there are three rows inserted inside both of these tables, the customer table as well as the suppliers table. Okay. Now what we are gonna do is we are gonna select we are gonna create a union by using both of these tables. For that, the syntax was select command from one table, right? Uh, Union select city suppliers. Okay. And order by RU city. Okay. So as you can see, it is showing us all the city names that we use inside these tables. And if I use union all in place of union, what will be the output? Wait. So now we have used the union all, and as you can see, in union on it shows us duplicate names. Mexico DF was present twice inside our tables, right? So that's why it is repeating this particular value because we have inserted it two times, and that's why union is used to note how many different names are there in two different tables. So you can use this command, and it's very easy. And what you can do is you can also provide conditions inside these select statements, like select city, city, Germany, and union select city, country, suppliers where country is equal to US. Okay. Then by city. So this command is showing us both of these select statement along with the condition. Like we have specified that where the country is Germany and where the country is USA. Okay. So it is showing us all the rows which satisfy both of these conditions, and that's where we use the union with the where clause. Okay. Then after that, let us move on to the next uh, statement. Okay, so the next thing that is very important, the next topic is group by statement. Okay, so the group by statement groups rows that have the same values in summary rows, like find the number of columns in each customers in each country. So group by statement is often used with aggregate functions like count, maximum, minimum, sum, and average to group the result set by one or more columns. Okay. Then the basic syntax of group by is wait, group by. Okay. So the basic syntax of group by is select column name from table name where condition and group by column name, then order by. Okay. So this is the basic syntax of group by, and while using this group by statements, you don't have to necessarily provide the order in which you want the result. We are providing order as well because it makes us our data more refined. Okay, so that's why we are providing order, and let us try to use it in our customers table. Okay, so first let me show you the whole table that we created. Assets and customers. Okay. So this was a table that we just created, and I'm going to try to run group by with this table. So select count of customer ID country from customers group by country. Okay. So this is our command, and let us try to run it. So as you can see, it is showing us the number of customers that are present inside a particular country. Like, so there was one customer from Germany and there were two customers from Mexico. Like, so just as you can see in the table that we have two values which belongs to the country Mexico, right? So it is very useful if you want to find out how many numbers are there inside a particular table. Okay. So after that, let me show you another thing. Okay, so if you want to arrange this data in a descending order as well, so for that, what will we do? We will have to use uh, order by, order by, and order by. I'll use count, and inside the count, I'll give customer ID, and order will be descending. Okay, so this statement arranges our data in a descending order. So I've told you about the order by, right? So it is used to arrange the data inside the ascending or descending orders, right? So that's how we use the order by along with this group by command. So yeah, So that was the group by statement thing, and we can also use it with joins. So this should be your homework that you have to find out how do we use group by statement with SQL joins that I taught you in the previous video, and what you have to do after implementing this, you will have to just put a comment in this video that I've used this and it works. Okay, so if possible, you can also paste your code. You can say your queries inside this comment section. So do comment in this video. So the next command that we are learning about is the having clause. Okay. So what is the basic syntax of having clause? So basic syntax of having clause is column from table name. Then you have to give where condition and group by having condition give order by column name. Then you can give descending or ascending in whichever order you want the data to be sorted. Okay. So this is the basic syntax of having clause. Okay. Now having clause was added to SQL because the where keyword cannot be used with aggregate functions. So these are like we are using group by, right? So if we want to provide a condition inside this group by, we won't be able to because where clause does not work that way. So that's why we are using the having clause. So if I want to use this on our customer table, what will happen? So I'll use the previous queries. Uh, yeah, from customers and group by country. Then at the end, you have to provide having clause. Okay. So having count greater than one. Okay. So this is just a condition that we are providing over here that count of customer ID should be greater than one. Okay. So there is only one group which has the count greater than one. That is our Mexico one. Okay. So this is working, and you can use it to show data inside your particular table. And if there are multiple rows inside this data, then you can also use the order by to arrange it into descending or ascending orders like we have done earlier. Okay. So it's very simple and you can use it at most of the time. Okay. Then the last topic for this video will be MySQL exist operators. Okay. So there is also an exist operator inside SQL, and exist operator is used to test the existence of any record in a subquery. Okay. The exist operator returns true if the subquery returns one or more records. Now, let me show you the basic syntax, then we will run it on our database. Okay. So, select name, name, then here, exist, then inside the brackets, you have to give the query. This is our query, and this is the basic syntax of what exists. Okay, and we will try to implement this in our tables. Okay. So, okay. First, let me check if there are two tables of product and suppliers available in our data. So, these are all the tables that we created, and there is a product table. Let me just try to show. So, product table already exists. There is also a supplier ID inside this table, and the second table should be the suppliers one. Okay, so we just created the suppliers one. So this is the suppliers table, and it also has the suppliers ID over here, right? So we are gonna try to implement MySQL exists clause inside these tables. So for that, the statement will be like this: select supplier names, suppliers where exists, select your duct name from ducts where ducts supplier ID is equal to supplier ID suppliers dot supplier ID, and wait, let me decrease the font size a little bit so that you may be able to see it. Okay, and price is less than 20. Okay, and we have to close the bracket as well. So this is our query. Now let us try to run. Uh, the table name was product, right? Sorry, I inserted products over there. Yeah, product name does not exist. Okay, so I name the column as name over there. So I'll just have to change it. Select supplier name from suppliers. There exists select product name. In place of that, I'll just have to write name over there. And yeah, rest of the query should be fine. Yeah. Supplier ID does not exist. Supplier ID. Okay, I used an underscore over there. That's also a problem. That name I didn't change. Wait, unknown column product name. Okay. And this shows us the supplier name, that is ADFF. Okay, so let me try to explain the statement. So there were multiple problems arising because there were column names because I have created the tables earlier, right? And I'm not creating those tables right now, so I don't remember the column names, and that's why this much errors are present over here because I messed it up again and again. Okay, so let's leave it and look at this way. Okay, so it is selecting supplier name from suppliers. Now we want to select supplier name from the suppliers table, right? This much you understood. Then after that, what condition are we checking over here? That where exists. So where exists, select name from the product where product supplier ID is equal to supplier ID and price is greater than 20. So price is greater than 20 in multiple columns. Like Okay. So price was greater in first one, then the third one, and then the fifth one. Okay. So there are two conditions. That is, products supplier ID should be equal to the supplier ID, and the price should be greater than 20. So price whose who was greater than 20 was present in these three rows or four rows. Okay. And the supplier ID was equal to ADFF was the result. Yeah. So supplier ID matched from this row of this suppliers table, and shows us the output like the supplier ID matched the product name. Okay, and that's why in the supplier ID it's two given over here. Okay, and so there was a change in query. I used a price less than 20. Now, if I try to use greater than 20, then all the other names will be listed over here. I was trying to explain you the data in which the price was greater than 20. Wait, so again, there is a mess up over here. So I'll just copy this, close this down, select supplier name, suppliers, and where exists, then price is greater than 20. Yeah. So this is showing us three different answers, that is ASDF, ADFF, and AGKF, and these belongs to the supplier names. These, okay. And how do we get this data? So it is checking whether the price is greater than 20 or not. So price is greater than 20 for the first product, and third, fourth, and fifth as well. Okay. So for these three rows or four rows, the supplier IDs were one. Okay. Then there was one and three and two. So one, two, three, all of these three are consist. All of three are available in the supplier IDs, right? And that's why those three are present in our output. The name associated with those three supplier IDs, that is, these three names, are printed in the output. And if I provide the condition as the price is less than 20, then this condition is only possible for this one row. And for this, the supplier ID was 2, right? So it is printing us the supplier ID two's name, that is ADFF. Okay. So that is the basic use of exists. Okay, and it is very useful in Mysql. If you want to select the data very specifically, like if you want to check a condition like this, and we have checked two different conditions, like select the name from the product where product is product supplier ID is equal to supplier ID of suppliers table, right? And the other condition was price is greater than 20, and here the price was less than 20, right? So these were the commands that you can use to find out the data. And in this video, I explained you about four different topics. Okay. So let me give you a quick review. First, we learned about the union and what is union used for. So union is used for selecting two different select queries from two different tables, or you can say it's a similar table, and you can get the result from that. Okay, and then there was the group by clause. Okay, then there was the having clause, and at the end, I explained you about the exist. Okay, so I think that is it for this video, guys. And if you are having doubts regarding the scopes, you can just go to practice.geeksforgeeks. Okay, and here inside the courses, there are multiple courses available over here. Whichever topic you want to learn, you can just search for it and you'll be able to access those courses from here. And you can also use the discount code given from our channel, that is the Coders Hub, and you'll get instant 10% discount on any of these courses. And if you are having doubts in SQL, you can actually search for SQL, and here is a SQL Foundation self-paced course, and you can buy this course and you can learn from it. Or you can post your queries inside the comment section, and I'm going to personally reply to all of those queries uh, in a very short period of time. Okay, so I think that is it for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.